before that, we're going to have highlights from last week's wildcard game with action from Kansas City's visit to San Diego, Houston visiting Buffalo, Washington at Minnesota, Philadelphia and New Orleans. Well, at this time of year, the action off the field can often prove to be just as dramatic as the playoff games themselves, and this week has proved to be no exception.
The conclusion that it's best to start that process with a new head coach.
So it's finally happened. Mike Ditka and the Bears have parted company, and life in Chicago will never be quite the same again.
I think it's a travesty. I think that Mike Ditka was part of Chicago.
He's run his course with the Bears.
I'm kind of upset by it because he's got a bad team.
Things started to go wrong for Mike back in October in a game against the Minnesota Vikings. The Bears were winning easily, 20-0, when quarterback Jim Harbaugh changed the call from the sideline.
Look out, here it goes. Interception, Todd Scott. Touchdown, Minnesota.
And an upset Mike Ditka blew up at Harbaugh, and the Vikings went on to win 21-20. And it seemed that Mike was going to fight with everybody. The press.
No, I'd rather talk to him.
The fans. And even on a radio show, he offered to meet a caller to show him the error of his ways.
You want to meet me there, you call me back on the air, you tell me what time and when, and I'll whip your...
Mike Ditka started his footballing career with the Bears, drafted in 1961 as a tight end. He was the NFL Rookie of the Year, and in each of his next 5 seasons was voted to the Pro Bowl. After a short spell with the Eagles, Ditka moved to Dallas, where he scored the final touchdown in their 1972 Super Bowl victory. He played only one more season before joining the Cowboys staff as an assistant coach. While there, the Cowboys won a further Super Bowl in 1978. His love affair with the Bears continued, though, when in 1981 he was appointed by founder George Halas as head coach. He inherited a team that had forgotten how to win, and he turned it around, culminating in a Super Bowl win against the New England Patriots in 1986. 16 years after his retirement as a player, in 1988, Mike Ditka received the final accolade, induction into the NFL's Hall of Fame. Later that year, though, he suffered a heart attack, but was back on the sidelines 3 weeks later, finishing the season with a 12-4 record. Since 1984, Mike Ditka's Bears have amazingly failed to make the playoffs in only one season, 1989. This year, though, the team only won 5 games, one of their worst performances for 2 decades. And for the Bears owner, enough was enough. For Mike Ditka,
I know one thing. I'm a Bear.
one man whose seasons come good is San Diego's head coach, Bobby Ross. His Chargers started the year 0-4, but came back to win 11 of their last 12 games and make it to the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. Kansas City came to Jack Murphy Stadium having won both regular season games against San Diego. And early on, Chargers quarterback Stan Humphries found the Chiefs' defense in an unforgiving mood.
Humphries under the blitz pressure, and Lewis has got him. Humphries steps away, hit on the release, and almost intercepted.
But the Chiefs quarterback Dave Craig also struggled against a dominant defense.
Craig, here comes O'Neal. Fumble, and it was recovered by Alt. Looks to the right and well defended that time by Donald Frank.
It wasn't pretty to look at, as neither offense could put points on the board. The first half highlight was this 45-yard John Carney field goal attempt for the Chargers, which kept everyone guessing.
Oh, he hits the crossbar.
Woo! But in the second half, Kansas City lost the initiative as San Diego's running game began to charge.
Butch pounds into the middle, and Butch breaks it. 30, 20, 10, touchdown, San Diego.
See, they have everybody covered up inside right here like that, and they pop it through anyway. Good blocking at the point. Now the big man and Mincy, the safety, has to make that play. That's poor safety play. Can't play in the National Football League if you can't come up and at least get a piece of it.
Coach Schottenheimer could only look on as his defense gave up vital points to the hard-running Chargers.
Touchdown, Steve Hendrickson.
A tempo setter for the football team. I think Bobby Ross called that play, put him in there for that reason. A little trap block right there. Good wham block by the tight end coming across. He called it because that guy earned the right to score that touchdown.
And coach Bobby Ross had earned the right to lead his team into a divisional clash with the Dolphins.
Leslie, Burke, Grossman, and the secondary, we all pulled together and came out with the win.
Sweet as your dream?
Oh, sweet as a dream. We got more dreams to come in Miami.
They showed that they were a good football team. You know, we played hard, and they played hard, and they made the plays, and we didn't. I think that's what it really came down to.
Get to the enthusiasm! Run. Let's play ball, okay? Let's play ball.
Buffalo fans appreciate how to enjoy their playoff football. But they came to Rich Stadium knowing that the Bills would be without starting quarterback Jim Kelly as they attempted to avenge last week's 27-3 defeat to the Oilers. But Houston were not intimidated, and Warren Moon continued where the Oilers left off, finding Hayward Jeffries for a touchdown in the opening drive, and there was more to come.
Little play action fake in the end zone. Touchdown. Webster Slaughter. Gibbons across in motion. 2 seconds on the play clock. Moon goes deep. And it is caught. What a catch.
As Houston piled up the points, all opposing quarterback Frank Reich could do was admire the work of Warren Moon.
Moon goes deep. Touchdown, Houston.
A halftime lead of 25 points must have surprised Coach Pardee, and Buffalo fans could scarcely believe it either, as things got worse in the third quarter.
Right goes far side. This is intercepted. And down the far sideline is Bubba McDowell. And he will score.
Bills coach Marv Levy must have thought only divine intervention could save his team. But the helping hand came with this missed Oilers interception, which allowed the Bills to move the ball to Houston's 1-yard line.
Here is Davis. Heads for the corner and he makes it.
Buffalo spreads people out right, thinking that's the direction they're going, and they come back left, and they're limited Oilers. Good upfield blocking there on the part of Jim Richer, who pushes Robertson out of the way, enabling Davis to go in for the score.
Then the Bills gambled big on the kickoff and won.
Buffalo scrambles for it. The Bills say they have it.
And Christie's the one that comes up with the ball. There's a term for this kick, and what it's called the suicide onside.
Steve Christie's excellent recovery on his own kickoff gave Frank Reich another chance to get the Bills moving.
Down the side, all alone. Beebe scores.
In the first half, it had been all Warren Moon and the Oilers, but as the second half unfolded, it was the Bills' turn to dominate with Reich.
Nice touch, has another man open. Backpedaling into the end zone is Andre Reed.
And that's probably the unhappiest guy in the stadium right now, Jim Eddy. He can't be very pleased with the way his defense is playing, giving up 3 quick touchdowns here in the third period.
On the Oilers' next drive, it was Warren Moon who made the mistake with this overthrown pass. And as he watched from the touchline, the Bills took their chance yet again.
Into the end zone, has a man, touchdown! You gotta love it, unless you're in Houston.
So Houston's dream start had become their nightmare. In the fourth quarter, they mishandled this field goal opportunity, which in the playoffs can often be fatal.
3:19 and counting, time remaining. Buffalo trailing by 4. Like to throw, end zone, touchdown.
But Buffalo's hopes of sealing the biggest ever comeback victory in NFL history were put on hold when, with just 15 seconds left in regulation, Al Del Greco kicked this 26-yard field goal to send it to overtime. But Houston's misfortunes continued as a stumbling receiver gave the Bills possession, and 3 plays later the opportunity to rewrite history.
An attempt of 32 yards for the win. It is right down the middle.
So Steve Christie's field goal ends a sensational heart-stopping game that culminated in the firing of the Oilers' defensive coaches and kept the Bills' hopes of a third straight Super Bowl appearance alive.
I'm immensely proud of our team. This is a Buffalo Bills group that, even though they've had a lot of disappointments during the year, peaks and valleys, has no quit in them at all.
So the AFC divisional games look like this, and ironically the last time Buffalo played in Pittsburgh, the Steelers set their own club record for a come-from-behind victory. The last time the Chargers met the Dolphins in postseason was 1982, when San Diego won 41-38 in overtime, in a thriller that's officially recognized as the game of the decade. Still to come, action from last weekend's NFC wildcard matches. Those games decided who would be going to San Francisco to face the 49ers and who would be coming here to Texas Stadium to take on the Dallas Cowboys in our featured game tomorrow. So don't go away. Here in Pasadena for Super Bowl 27. Last year, the Washington Redskins won the Super Bowl in the Metrodome in Minneapolis, and last weekend they returned there to take on the Vikings, who stood between them and a divisional playoff game against the San Francisco 49ers. And it was a typically cold and icy winter's day in Minneapolis. But inside the Metrodome, a sellout crowd of 63,000 gave Washington a warm Viking welcome. And on the opening drive of the game, the home team began an irresistible march to the Redskins' goal line.
Salisbury going deep for Carter again. Caught at the 1-yard line. Oh, wow. Randall McDaniel, the guard, is the fullback in the eye, and he leads the way for Allen. Touchdown.
Terry Allen's 1-yard touchdown dive ended a 79-yard, 9-play Vikings opening drive. And on their next possession, quarterback Sean Salisbury looked long again, this time for Anthony Carter.
And Salisbury going deep, and there's contact, but incidental on a pass intended for Anthony Carter, picked off by Mayu. And Mayu with a great run back out of bounds at the 32-yard line.
Martin Mayhew's 44-yard interception return set up this Chip Lohmiller field goal that kept the Redskins in touch going into the second quarter, when again a Vikings error opened the door.
And that pass is picked off by Brad Edwards. And Edwards to the 33-yard line after faking the lateral and holding on, and Washington with a big break at the 18-yard line. Here's Biner, and Biner throwing against the grain, and it is picked off, but out of the end zone was Vincey Glenn. He came down with it, and one official not making the call, the other with a better view said he was out of the end zone.
So a close call for the Vikings. 2 plays later, the Redskins were again threatening on Minnesota's 3-yard line.
First and goal, and they give it to Biner. And Ernest, looking for a signal, gets it. Touchdown, Ernest Biner.
A clearly annoyed Coach Green watched the game swing away from him in the second quarter as the power of the Redskins began to take control.
Oh, and it's a fake, and it is Brian Mitchell inside the 40, inside the 30. Biggest play of the game, takes it to the 18-yard line.
Everything was set up for it, and it works.
Well executed.
Brian Mitchell, why not?
And Brian Mitchell is inside the 5. Brian Mitchell is in for the touchdown.
As well blocked an offensive play as you will ever see.
So Coach Gibbs and his team had a 10-point halftime lead. And in the third quarter, the Redskins, and quarterback Mark Rippon in particular, came out with confidence.
Rippon for Clark, who's open. Touchdown.
Gary Clark's touchdown buried Minnesota and kept the reigning champions on course for Pasadena.
This isn't gone yet. Until they drive a stake in our heart here, we're still breathing. And we're going to go down swinging. And I think our players took it upon themselves this week and said, hey, somebody's going to have to knock us out of there. We're not going easy.
In the second NFC wildcard game, Philadelphia found the Big Easy in carnival mood. But very soon they realized that New Orleans wasn't joking.
much more. Ironhead stopped by Booty.
But 2 plays later, there was no Booty stopping Ironhead, alias Greg Hayward. And Eagles coach Rich Kotite decided the best means of defense was to attack.
Cunningham again is going to take off, but this time he's going to get the first down and more, still on his feet. He's going for a bunch. Fred Barnett, touchdown.
Here he has single coverage. This is Toy Cook, number 41. He's just going to sprint right by him. He doesn't run any kind of pattern at all. Toy Cook was looking back into the backfield, and Barnett just did that with speed.
In the second quarter, it was Jim Moore's Saints who again took the initiative.
Vaughn Dunbar, still on his feet, inside the 10. McMillan tripped him up. Flag on the play, but a touchdown nevertheless to Quinn Early.
Early's covered there by Eric Allen. You see Eric Allen grabbed with that left hand. Early still made the play.
But Saints' celebrations proved a little premature as Randall Cunningham bounced the Eagles back in the fourth quarter.
Cunningham going deep. Touchdown! Fred Barnett, a diving catch, spectacular catch.
Here it is again. They had double coverage. They have 2 guys on him. Fred Barnett goes up and catches the ball.
And when Bobby Hebert threw this reckless pass, it was picked off by Seth Joyner, and the Eagles seized their opportunity to go ahead.
Keith Sherman, he'll have the first down. He'll have the touchdown. From 6 yards out, the Eagles take the lead.
Jim Moore then watched as the game moved out of the Saints' control, as Bobby Hebert first had this pass batted down and then was tackled in the end zone for a safety. Then with time running down, the Eagles asserted their defensive dominance in the fourth quarter to end the Saints' playoff hopes.
Here's Hebert back to throw. Picked off by Eric Allen. And get ready for Dallas. The Eagles, 35-20 now.
We lost the game. The season's over. It's tough when you lose a playoff game because you know it's final. There's no more games to play. 1992 is history, and but you got to look forward, and that's what we'll do.
We don't panic. When you panic, it seems like you just take yourself out of your own element. But we just keep on plugging and having fun, and that was the difference. Is we just went out and just continue what we were doing.
Now get back on the top. Give it to him!
So the Redskins' reward for overcoming the Vikings is a trip to Candlestick Park, where they've lost 4 straight to the 49ers. And coming to Texas Stadium to face the Cowboys in our Sunday game, it'll be the Eagles. So the prize at stake here tomorrow when the Philadelphia Eagles come to Dallas is an opportunity to play either the San Francisco 49ers or the Washington Redskins in the NFC Championship game. The last time these teams met in the playoffs was way back in 1980, and the Eagles won that game. But this year, when they played each other, both teams won at home. So that could mean advantage Dallas tomorrow.
I think it is because with our home field, that